Best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
WSCT Worldwide.
Yo, welcome back to the Morning Wake Up with Winston Warrior right here. WSCT Worldwide. We are changing the way you listen to radio. And it's Monday, and we are doing a dang on thing up in the building. Listen to some A-Rap money underneath. The bed is, underneath the bed is doing its thing.
Why they call them Arabs?
What's up?
Arabs. Sounds so funny now. Arabs.
Yo, Brett.
What's good?
What's good, baby? What's going on with that story you was reading?
Man. So.
The Sandusky?
Yes, but I was reading the story from Traponi's standpoint, which is Vicky Traponi. She was the vice president of student discipline.
Yeah.
And she said she stood up to Joe Sandusky because she didn't like the way that the students were being disciplined. And it eventually got her fired from the university because they said she wasn't keeping up with the Penn State way quotation.
Air quotes.
She was too confrontational. She had too much of an opinion, and they didn't like it because they needed to keep their reputation with football and all of that stuff. And so basically she got fired. Well, she resigned in 2007. She started in 2003. And she described it as like one of the worst moments because what happened was she had like this big house. She's making good money. Her husband was a professor at the school also. And she said by the time that, she resigned, she started getting threatening calls. They were putting for sale signs up in front of her house. It was a scary time for her.
Wow.
So she sold her house. She moved into a condo, and she left like the Penn State area. And it took her husband like 2 years to find a job. So you can just imagine what that that time span was like for her to be out of the job that she worked so hard for. She had like a 30-year career, and she's resigned. So she's just living in this condo. He's looking for work. But the story has like a really great ending. Like I said, somebody really should do a movie on this. Like I would really go see it. Of course, they probably have to exaggerate and stuff, but it was really, really good reading it. Like just getting a visual of what actually happened and how everything went down. She eventually got another job as an interim director at another school. And I think she's presently working there, and she loves it. And she says that she has the opportunity to speak publicly about how she feels. In the school, they represent opinions, so it's the freedom of speech there. Like they love it. So she's doing great. She loves her job. Her husband found another job, and she's doing good now. So
that's cool.
It's a really good story.
And what I like to take from that, Britt, is that being that it's back to work Mondays, a lot of people are still in that situation. You know what I'm saying? They're still in a situation where it could be that they're working somewhere where their opinions are not mattered, or they feel like they're getting pushed out. You know what I'm saying? And how do people deal with that? You know what I'm saying? You either have to document it, get you some sponsors within the company so that you can, go ahead and fight back, or you have your plan B that I've talked about on the show before. You got to have your plan B when it comes to corporate America now, because everybody's expendable.
Corporate America sucks.
I think what's also interesting about this is that she probably was trying to do the right thing, and the Penn State way, which we are starting to find out, meant you shut the hell up and get in line and don't talk about what's going on with these boys. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what happened. She said co-workers stopped talking to her because they were scared they were going to lose their jobs. Her colleagues, like, she lost a lot of respect. But in the end, it came out that she was speaking the truth.
Right.
Like, she stood for what was honest in her job. I mean, it was her job. She was the vice president of student discipline. So if she saw something going on,
that was her job to say
incorrect,
something.
It was her job to say something. But in all actuality, she was supposed to be quiet.
Because she was the female they could check off with their diversity.
So
And see, that's the
I love
bullshit.
it that
I'm
she's
sorry.
a woman, you know?
She's a
Like,
whistleblower.
Exactly. Now, what do y'all think? I mean, what's y'all opinion on that? I mean, in terms of, we've all had jobs, you know what I'm saying, in the regular corporate world or whatnot. I mean, how do you deal with that situation? What advice do you give our listeners to say, boom, this is how you deal with a situation where you are supposed to do A, but they really want you to do B?
I quit a job because of that.
That's real.
I quit.
That's
I
real.
was working for this mortgage company. They actually got seized and taken over by the feds because they were doing some wrong stuff. And I was in there one day and I was working in like their pre-qualification like credit repair division. So people would call. I would look over their credit report when I ran it and to see what loan they qualified for. And if they didn't qualify for a loan, I would put them in the credit repair program for 90 days so we can clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up so they can get approved. And company, everything was going good for about 2-3 months. I'm working, everything's cool, and then one day they came in there with a whole new list of policies and procedures on how we supposed to do stuff, and what they wanted us to do didn't make sense. And I asked them, I said, well, why are we doing it this way?
Like what, Chris? Give me the dirt.
They told us instead of us running the credit report that we're no longer allowed to run the credit report, that they have to send in their own.
What?
So I was like, they have to send in their own. I was like, that's gonna make it kind of hard for people because some people don't know how to do that. So they want us to have them request it on their own, and they run it and then fax it or mail it in. Turns out that they didn't have a license to be looking at people's credit reports like that. So instead of getting in trouble, they trying to get us to go extra steps to cover their ass. So one day they came and was like, look, we gonna do it this way, we gonna change this, we gonna change that. And I was just like, why y'all gotta change everything when it's working? He said, well, why can't you just not ask questions, shut up, and just follow suit?
Wow.
And I went outside to smoke me a cigarette, and I got my behind on the bus and kept it moving. Never came back. The only time I came back is when I went up there with a sheriff to get my damn money.
Oh, wow.
Because they bounced my last check. I had to go up there with a deputy sheriff and get my money. Yeah, like on some, we gonna go to the bank together, and the officer's like, if it doesn't clear, we gonna come right back up here. Yeah.
See, and look where you are now, Chris.
Yeah, but you know the owner of that company, he's in federal prison. The marshals seized his ass. They literally came to his house and removed his ass from his body and took it with them. So he's got some time and he's got millions of dollars he's got to pay. He's got like $4 million in restitution he's got to pay back. What he was doing, listen to this now.
All right.
What he was doing, they go to juicy stuff.
All right.
He was taking people. You know how they charge you to do a refi for you?
Yeah.
He was taking the money for the refi and the appraisal and keeping it, getting loans for these people and not paying off their houses.
Oh, wow.
So he would get a $200,000-$300,000 loan for somebody and not pay off the mortgage. So these people are thinking their house is saved and they good on the refi, and then they getting foreclosed on, and he keeping the damn loan money, not paying off the old debts.
Wow.
Yeah, he was going
gangster.
in. He was gangster.
Yeah, he was gully with
And
that.
he was a white boy.
Gully. But I must admit, if you're gonna go in, go hard, cause don't get locked up for $20.
No, don't get locked up for $20. I tell people all the time, they're like, would you do 10 years for $5 million? I said, hell yeah. I said, give
As long as I can stack some of it somewhere.
Yeah, as long as I'm gonna come out to the same $5 million, let's do this.
Well, it's gonna have interest too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interest on it too.
No.
We just kidding.
I'm joking.
We don't condone it.
No.
But how do you feel about that, Brett? I mean, because that is a real option. I mean, you could just be like, bam, I'm out. Quit. But what if you got like 2 kids and you just can't really just? I mean, what do you do at that point?
That's when you just have to pray. And I say you should always be true to self. Honesty should always exceed any type of lying.
You heard that? Honesty.
Yeah.
Because
real.
eventually they're gonna get caught. It might not be,
Oh,
soon.
yeah. What's dark
but
always
it'll
comes to
be-
light.
It'll be later.
Right.
And you'll be okay. Just
Right.
like the lady Traponi, she had
She's
a dark,
good.
she had a little moment of, oh my goodness. Everybody has oh my goodness.
She had an oh my goodness moment.
Yeah, she had an oh my goodness moment. But you have to keep pushing, and you'll get to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, and
Can't
to your
stand
point,
dark.
and you know what? To your point, we see how this whole case is unraveled. I mean, you have the president, the provost, all have been fired. Paterno was let go, of course, and then he eventually died of cancer. It's like weird how they jumped on him like as soon as he resigned, like that thing.
I think he just stopped taking chemo or something. Like he just died.
You know what? But
Stop taking his pills.
You know what? I'm gonna digress for a second, but I've seen so many like, and especially white men who are in positions of power. As soon as they retire,
They die.
they die. Something. It's like
They don't feel like they have.
I'm like, God.
Any point in living.
They lose the will to live, I guess.
Exactly. Like if he had stayed as the head coach, would that cancer have jumped on him that quick?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't have any kind of medical background to say whatever, but I just really feel like it's something chemical or something going on in their bodies. And then when he had that thing coming on him and that guilt, to your point, it came back on him, that karma he created, because he knew, according to this FBI investigation, he knew what was going on. He didn't say anything. He covered it up. And these people at the school crying and got statues of him and all this stuff, and now they looking like dummy. You know what I mean? And this chick is like saying, you know what? I'm vindicated.
Right. Like,
Yo,
y'all wasn't listening to me before.
I try to tell y'all. Yeah, that's real. So look, the lesson I think for this, on this particular segment of our Back to Work Monday, is that look, you really have to be, I think, honest to yourself and true to yourself. And if you see something that's shady going on, then just start getting your plan together. Just don't sit there and take it. You know what I'm saying? Just get your plan together, and then you roll.
I worked for 2 companies that end up getting shut down for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm like, I mean, with this dude I was just telling you about, I had to go give a deposition and everything about that. The feds sitting there talking about what part did you play in this. I'm like, I just worked there. We better leave me alone.
So, Mr. Chris,
I called my lawyer. I asked my attorney. I said, "Yo, John," I said, "What should I do about this?" He said, "Word of advice." He said, "If the FBI and the FTC and any government agency with an alphabet behind their name ask you questions, you cooperate." He said, because
I got
said,
some
that's
on
real.
That. I got some on that.
He said,
that's
you
real.
cooperate. He said, if it's state, you can pimp the police.
And local.
He said, local, you can pimp them. He said, but if it's feds, if it's government, alphabet boys, he said, I don't care if it's FBI, FTC, CIA, you better tell them whatever you know.
ATF. Yeah.
You better tell them.
It's real.
So,
I got
don't commit no federal offenses around me because I'm a snitch.
No. And let me tell you something. I think they just passed. Well, I know you had to serve all your time. I think they just passed the law that says it's not probation. What is it?
Parole.
You might be able to get parole. Might in Fed. Usually, if you get 15 years Fed, you serving 15 years.
No, I usually serve like 13 because it's 85% of your time. So
that's what it is.
They
now.
let you work and work off some of that. And, yeah.
But it didn't used to be that way.
Nah,
It didn't used to be that way. I have a frat brother I gotta talk about when we come back. Anyway, it's the morning wake up with Winston Warrior. My girl DJ Fly Girl Brett.
He's a crook.
He is a crook. I love him, but he's a crook. He's in Fed Pen. And my man Chris, we up here chilling. It's Back to Work Mondays, getting your work together, getting your day together, and giving you some advice on how to.
And the light just kind of, the Lord said, let there be light. Yo, I gotta get that bulb changed. It's funny because I be in here sometime and it be dark, and all of a sudden the light just come on. You be like, hello.
That's some spooky stuff.
That's crazy.
Spooky?
Well, I guess it won't be spooky because it's coming on. But
Did it
if
scare
it
you,
went
girl?
off, it'll be spooky.
Did it scare you, girl?
I told you I've been watching Snapped. I've been scared since last night.
That's crazy. And on that, we'll be back, y'all. It's the morning wake up. Let's go.